I still keep $15 crumpled under the rubber mat of my van, and every morning, when the engine coughs alive, they rustle like a ghost reminding me who I used to be. My name is Elias Crowe. 33. I smell like diesel and cheap coffee before the sun even thinks about rising. I'm the guy who delivers your birthday gift at 6:02 a.m. so it lands on the porch before the kids wake up. I'm the guy who knows every pothole between the warehouse and the coast because I've hit them all in the dark. I'm the guy my family forgot was even in the room, until the lawyer turned the page and the air turned to glass. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me take you back to the Tuesday the sky felt too heavy. My alarm is a freight train horn at 4:17 a.m. I roll out of a mattress that's more duct tape than foam, splash water on a face that hasn't seen a vacation since high school, and pull on the same gray hoodie I've worn for 3 winters. The mirror shows a stranger with grease in the creases of his knuckles and eyes that gave up asking for anything years ago. Across town, my sister Lila lives in a penthouse that smells like orchids and ambition. Dad called her the closer. She closes deals, closes tabs, closes any conversation that doesn't end with her name in lights. Me. I close loading bays at midnight so the morning shift never knows we almost missed a deadline. Dad, Vincent Crowe, started with one rattling box truck and a handshake. By the time I was 16, he owned half the ports on the eastern seaboard. Forbes put his face on a cover, the king of quiet cargo. Underneath, in tiny font, it said, net worth, $180 million. I read that magazine in a truck stop bathroom while eating a cold burrito because I'd just driven 8 hours to cover a route Dad forgot to staff. He never forgot Lila's birthday. Never forgot to fly her first class to Davos so she could network. Me. He'd toss me the keys to a rig and say, make it happen, kid. That's how men are forged. I believed him. I swallowed the exhaust and called it character. 3 weeks before he died, I found a manila envelope taped under the workbench in Dad's garage. My name, Elias, was scrawled in his shaky Sharpie. Inside, a single brass key and a post-it that read, only if the lights go out. I stared at it for an hour, heart hammering like a flat tire. Then I slid it into the glove box and told myself it was nothing. Just Dad being dramatic. Just Dad. The funeral was lavender skies and rented limos. Lila wore sunglasses big enough to hide a continent. Mom clutched a rosary she hadn't touched since the 90s. I stood at the back in my only black shirt, sleeves too short, watching strangers cry harder than any of us. 2 days later, we're in a law office that smells like mahogany and panic. The conference table is a mile long. Lila's nails drum a war beat. She leans over, perfume choking me, and whispers, $15, Eli. That's your cut. Buy yourself something pretty. Her laugh is glass dragged across tile. I don't answer. I'm counting the scuffs on my boots, each one a story she'll never ask about. The lawyer, Mr. Hargrove, clears his throat like he's about to detonate a bomb. He flips to a page clipped with a red tab. Addendum executed April 4th, codicil overrides prior distributions. Lila's smirk freezes midair. Mom's phone slips from her hand and clatters like a gunshot. But that wasn't the worst of it. Let me rewind so you feel the weight. Age 12, I'm changing a flat on Dad's pickup in a snowstorm while Lila's inside learning PowerPoint. Age 19, I'm sleeping in a warehouse because a blizzard shut the interstate and someone had to guard a shipment of insulin. Age 25, I'm wiring Lila my rent money so she can bridge a cash flow hiccup after St. Tropez. She Venmos me a martini emoji and calls it interest. Every time I floated a bill, Mom patted my cheek, you're our rock, Eli. Translation, keep bleeding quietly. Dad got sick fast. First it was, a little fatigue. Then oxygen tanks and midnight ER runs. I became the pharmacist, the chauffeur, the human shield between him and the word terminal. Lila became the brand ambassador, posting throwback photos with captions like, honoring the legend #CrowStrong. #strong. #delete the comments asking why she's in Paris while he's on a ventilator. One night, Dad grabs my wrist with fingers like dry twigs. You steady, Eli. I nod. He coughs blood into a tissue and mutters, good. Steady keeps the world turning. Then he sleeps. I sit in the hallway until dawn, counting ceiling tiles, wondering why steady always tastes like rust. Back to the law office. Short sentences now. Heart in my throat. Hargrove reads, to Elias Crowe, operational control, contingent on full repayment of all familial advances in the last 36 months. He slides a ledger across the table. Numbers in neat columns. $187,400. Lila's spa retreats. My credit card. My sleepless nights. Lila's voice cracks. This is absurd. Mom whimpers. I stare at the page. My handwriting in the margins, dates, amounts, Lila, emergency. Hargrove keeps going. To Elias Crowe, immediate bequest of $75,000 and a trust valued at 5 times any verified advance paid on behalf of sister or mother. 5 times. 5. The room tilts. My pulse is a jackhammer. Lila lunges across the table. You poisoned him. I find my voice, raw, scraped clean. I signed as witness. That's all. You knew. I hoped, I say. Difference. Hargrove isn't finished. He pulls the brass key from an envelope, the same one from the garage. Final clause. Elias is granted irrevocable access to Vault 17 at First Maritime Bank. Contents to be disclosed privately. Lila's face drains to ash. Mom gasps like she's been slapped. Because Vault 17 isn't cash. It's evidence. Dad kept 2 sets of books. One for the board, shiny, audited, Instagram ready. One for the shadows, offshore accounts, shell companies, routes that didn't exist. I drove those routes. Midnight handoffs on fog-choked piers. Cash bricks wrapped in plastic. I thought I was protecting the empire. Turns out Dad was protecting me. The vault holds hard drives. Emails. Ledgers. Enough to sink Lila's legacy and half the board. Dad's note, taped to the first drive, reads. Eli, you carried the dirt so she could stay clean. This is your parachute. Use it or burn it. Either way, you're free. Lila lunges for the key. I close my fist. Metal bites my palm. Silence detonates. I walked out with the key in my pocket and $15 still rustling under the mat. Lila's screams chased me down the hallway, but the carpet swallowed every sound. 3 days later, I opened the vault alone. The drives are in a safe deposit box now. I haven't decided what justice looks like. Forgiveness. Exposure. A quiet wire transfer and a one-way ticket to anywhere but here. Every morning I still deliver. Same routes. Same potholes. But the rearview mirror shows a man who finally sees himself. So here's the question I carry like a live wire. If the empire you bled for was built on your silence, and the key to burning it down is in your hand, do you twist it? Tell me in the comments, what would you do with that key?